Today's episode of Crimson Spires is brought to you by Brewhouse Coffee Company, Vermont-style cold brewed coffee. Dark roast cold brew with a touch of Vermont maple syrup. Shake well and keep... I didn't shake this. Fuck!
Ah, well.
Well, rip to my coffee.
Yeah, I guess it'll just be bad coffee then.
I guess it'll just be bad coffee.
Why does it want you to shake it?
I don't know, but I trust them. Like, if that's how they're like, this is how you should this is how you should drink the coffee beverage we prepared for you, then I'm like, okay, fine.
I don't trust anyone who tells me to shake up a beverage.
The only thing I don't ever trust is the instructions that tell me to let the thing sit in the microwave for a minute. Like, no, I want it to cool off. I want it to be hot. That's why I have put it in the microwave oven.
SK Iron Mouth Relatable.
It's not my fault that you drink things that are lukewarm and you're like, ah.
I do that, yeah.
Anyway, so did you mention last time your theory about what August's killings might be?
Vampire Hunter.
Yeah,
August Rice.
See,
Vampire Hunter.
This was convincing to me. That like August is indeed a serial killer. A serial killer of vampires. And the ritual and stuff is all just what's necessary to do that. The more I thought about that, I think that's kind of compelling.
What throws me, then, is why would he do it somewhere where he carefully chose who discovered it? And so on. I don't know what the reason would be.
That is true. And the game's gone to great lengths to make sure that we know that, like, yeah, the Heartbreaker chose who saw them. I don't know. Worth looking into. But worth keeping. It could also just be a bait switch, or not even a bait switch. It could just be like we're barking up the wrong tree here. But I like it. Anyway, hello there. It's too much trouble to take August back to the precinct now, and I certainly won't leave him at the crime scene. So I find myself walking to the Bataille mansion with both Maddie and August in tow. I hear they have a daycare up there.
I just don't understand. Liam would never do something like this.
How well do you really know Liam, Maddie?
I don't know him as well as Julian, but...
And how well do you know Julian? Maddie sees in frustration. Oh, that reminds me of the other thing that we brought up last time. That I don't know if we brought this one up during the recording either. We still haven't even gotten back to the weird creature that showed up at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, we haven't. We didn't bring that one up.
Yeah. And you were talking about how that might be a werewolf.
Yeah, it's a vampire versus werewolf scenario, and the towers are up to keep the werewolves out.
See, that's
the
a fascinating angle.
To stay safe.
That's a fascinating angle. I wonder what we'll see here.
You're right. I don't know a fucking thing. I can't even trust my gut instincts anymore. For all I know, Julian put them there. Julian gave you instincts.
Seems like Julian had some influence over Maddie's mind whenever he bit her.
Oh, right. Because he's a vampire.
An awkward silence follows August's statement, in which no one corrects him. Maddie shakes her head in confusion.
A vampire wouldn't have done this, though. Surely a vampire wouldn't leave so much blood at the scene.
Maybe Liam isn't a vampire.
Maybe Liam didn't do this. Or maybe Liam did do this, and he's also a vampire.
Once again, an uncomfortable silence follows August's words. Our current theory is that we're pinning this on Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, Charlotte.
Even August starts to fidget and fall back in line, as if to avoid further discussion. Did you have something else to add, August?
Well, only speculation, but if I voice my thoughts, you'll just retort with, "You only know that because you're the Heartbreaker," or some such nonsense, when it seems like common sense to me.
August, my mind is already made up about that, so just say what you want to say. You can't convince me otherwise. I stop to meet his gaze, and his eyes narrow slightly. If I had any remaining faith in August's innocence, it vanishes in that moment, and he seems to know it. He breaks my gaze and sighs dramatically.
Fine. It just seems to me that the heart, being an organ that provides blood to the rest of the body, would release a lot of blood upon removal. In that regard, Principal Vincent's killer kept the chest cavity extraordinarily clean.
My hands squeeze into fists. Then Liam will pay for this. pretty alright for cold brew. I like the maple syrup flavor in it.
I'm glad.
Yeah. That's it. That's the update on what at coffee SK is drinking today. Join in next episode for possibly potable tap water. Oh, this is our first time seeing the mansion! Despite my fury, I pause as I approach the door of the Bataille mansion. In all my 6 months of living in Bataille, I never set foot here. Bataille family was intimidating enough before I knew their true nature. Interesting. I close my eyes and I see Terry's dead body sprawled across the gymnasium. Anger quickens my pulse. I raise my hand to the door and knock. A brief moment passes before the door sweeps open and Charlotte peers at me from the other side, almost as if she was waiting for me.
Why, hello, Erica. What a pleasant surprise.
I doubt that.
But why aren't you after Principal Vincent's killer? I heard about what happened. So tragic.
I'm looking for the killer right now.
Oh, but why here? It sounded so much like a heartbreaker murder, don't you think?
And she's trying so hard to play it up. Yes, but I'm investigating all possibilities. I motion to the others who are waiting in the yard. August waves at Charlotte, and her eyes widen with surprise. Hello. Let's cut the shit, Charlotte. I know what you are. I know the Heartbreaker didn't kill Terry Vincent, and I'd like to speak to Liam. Charlotte studies me a moment, her face a blank page.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
I notice how she remains far enough behind the door to avoid any sunlight. Then you should either invite me in or step outside so I can see you better. Her eyes flash, and then the edges of her lips curl with a smile.
You've got balls, Erica. I do like that about you.
That is none of your... Oh, you meant... Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what you meant. Yes, okay, good. She reaches a hand out, letting the sun strike her skin. She seems to be making a point that she can withstand direct sunlight, but I don't find her gesture very convincing, because she withdraws her hand only a few seconds later.
It's a little warm today for my tastes. I'd love to keep chatting, truly, but I have pressing matters to attend to. Maybe some other time.
So, the fact that they're vampires isn't even a mystery anymore. Like, we're figuring this out. We haven't even got hit, like, the midpoint of the game yet.
It wasn't a mystery to begin with.
Well, I mean, yeah, it wasn't a mystery, but it's not a mystery to the characters, I guess. Where's Liam?
How should I know? I'm his sister, not his mother.
I'm not going anywhere until I speak to him.
Fine. Enjoy the driveway. Sorry in advance for all the mosquitoes. I planted rosemary hoping to stave them off, but nothing seems to drive those bloodsuckers away. Stubborn little creatures.
Nice. Laughing to herself, she shuts the door in my face. Interesting. So that's what the mansion looks like. I know this is just for dramatic effect, but it feels like every single scene has the towers immediately in the background behind them. Yeah. And then I remember that they're so much taller than I think they are. So. Oh, whoops. I need to. I rejoin the others, and I explain that Charlotte wouldn't let me in. I then proceed to pace in angry circles. It's not like I can get a warrant to search the mansion, and even if I did, what would it matter? Charlotte would laugh in my face again.
You should just break in.
That is the solution you would come up with.
Into the lion's den? You could be discreet about it, of course. Sneak in through a window. He has a point. I know where Liam's room is.
How? The thought of getting caught by one of the Batailles terrifies me. I remember the length of Julian's fangs as they sank into Maddie's arm. I remember the power he had over her. And my hand rests against my gun. I'm the sheriff of this town, and if I don't stand up to the Batailles, no one will. Tell me how I get to his room.
Okay, let me think for a second. You'll want to walk around to the east side of the mansion. There are some shrubs that'll give you cover. Enter the last window at the end of the east side. I think it goes right into his room.
I take a deep breath and nod. All right, I'm going in. But first, give me your hands, August. I take out a pair of handcuffs, and he gives me a look.
No need for any of that. Besides, what if you get into trouble? Wouldn't you prefer that I'm available to help?
I exchange looks with Maddie.
He's right, and if it's me you're worried about, don't.
She cracks her knuckles.
I can handle August Flynn.
I want to argue with her, especially when I see the amused smirk on August's face, but I don't. We're all in danger here, but right now our humanity binds us together. I don't want to cut the fragile thread connecting us. August continues watching me, his grin widening as if he can read my thoughts.
Besides, don't you need those cuffs for Liam?
I bite back my retort. Fine, I'm going in. I'll be back soon. Well, this is a big mistake waiting to happen. I don't remember. I don't think she was there. Was she? She was there at the general scene when we were talking to Liam, but I don't know if she overheard that or if Liam talked to her later about it. But either way, I completely believe that Liam, while a vampire, does want to go on the straight and narrow as much as possible.
Vegetarian vampire.
I don't think that's it.
It's just
blood.
like Twilight.
What? Okay, well, if it was like Twilight, why aren't we playing baseball? That's the only thing I know about Twilight. I don't know anything more about Twilight. I even read the first book. Like, I genuinely read the Twilight book. And I can't remember a single goddamn thing about it.
Yeah, it's one of...
Truck. It was really important that he had a truck.
Huh.
That's it. That's the only other thing I remember.
It was one of few books that made me angry enough that I marched outside and yeeted it into a dumpster midway through a chapter.
Normally, I'm not one to condone the wanton throwing away of books, but you know what? I think you were justified.
It's that and Atlas Shrugged.
God, I wish someone had told me Atlas Shrugged wasn't cool before I committed to reading it. It wasn't worth it.
You could stop at any time.
Rush lied to me. I thought Ayn Rand was cool. I don't anymore. You don't need to cancel me, please. I look around warily. The room is completely dark, windows shuttered and curtained. I see a bundle of clothes on the floor, clearly discarded and thrown aside, and my breath catches. The clothes are covered in blood. My eyes move to the large bed against the side of the room, but it appears to be empty. Rarely I approach it. And then the world flips over. I forget which way gravity points until my back strikes the floor, punching the breath from my lungs. Stars dance in the ceiling. I don't realize a hand was gripping my ankle until it lets go, and then something climbs over me, so fast I don't have time to draw my gun. I hear the hiss of his breath. I see the flash of his fangs. I'm sure I've been captured by a monster until I meet his gaze. I recognize Liam at the same moment he recognizes me. The weight lifts off me. I hear his feet scrabbling off the floor, but he moves so quickly that it takes my mind a few seconds to register the fact that he released me and now stands a few feet away. You know, given that they move that quickly, maybe the thing that was just a vampire earlier on.
Could be.
Yeah. You, what the fuck are you doing here? I consider drawing my weapon. I must make a small subconscious movement towards my gun because his eyes narrow and he cocks his head. This is ridiculous. I don't stand any chance against someone who can move that fast, even with a gun. I glance around the room as if to find some other advantage, and then I wonder where he was when I first came in. Were you under the bed? You first. Did Charlotte let you in? No, I snuck in through a window. Lucius Christ, she'll kill you, Erica. I'll take my chances. I don't think you understand. She will really kill you. I'm here about someone who's already dead, Terry Vincent. He gasps, but his breath seems to catch in his throat. Pain racks his face. You killed her, didn't you? I thought... He's breathing heavily, almost hyperventilating. As if he's trying to hide his distress, he's failing miserably. Did Liam actually do it? I heard her heart was torn out, like the Heartbreaker killer. The murder was clearly an imitation of the Heartbreaker kill, an imitation that matched the limited information I gave you the other day. I don't even remember what you told me. I was too distracted by you. I just liked hearing you talk. If it's just going to be these two, do you want to take over Erica again?
Okay. Come on.
Why would I do that? What possible reason would I have to kill someone like Terry Vincent? It doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make any sense to me either. I need you to explain.
But...
His trembling increases, his eyes shimmer with tears, his voice trails off, and finally, he starts to cry. Suddenly, I realize I have an advantage. If I'm going to make a move, this is my chance.
I don't see any reason to draw our gun here.
Yeah. I wait
like we said earlier, we have no advantage from that.
Mm-hmm. I wait uncertainly. Liam rocks with sobs. I wait uncertainly. Liam rocks. Liam, I need you to tell me what's happening here. He looks up and wipes his face, but the grief remains.
I want to, Erica, but I can't.
I glimpse a new emotion when his eyes next meet mine. Pity.
You really, really shouldn't have come here.
He takes a step forward. I know he could move faster if he wanted to, but he's approaching me slowly. He's hesitant, and I can use that. I know what you're about to do. You want to muddle my thoughts, right? He stops, eyes widening. There's no point. Maddie and August are waiting outside. They know I came here to get you. And if you try to confuse me...
How much do you know?
I know enough. He winces and turns away again, struggling to hold back more sobs.
So you know the truth then? You know that I'm a monster.
I know you have superhuman strength. I know that Julian drank Maddie's blood and hypnotized her somehow. I assume you share that ability. But as for the rest, I only think you're a monster because you killed Terry Vincent.
I had to. I had to kill Terry to save you from Charlotte. Interesting.
Twist. A twist that surprised me enough to bonk the microphone.
I noticed that. That'll be fun on the audio.
Save me from Charlotte. How the fuck does that connect?
Ugh. After you saw Julian with Maddie, he and Charlotte panicked. Charlotte thought that she might have to kill you now that you knew what we are. But I argued against it. Charlotte still wouldn't listen. But then Julian... He said maybe we could just distract you for a little while and make what you saw less important. One thing led to another, and then I told him what you said about the Heartbreaker murders. I wanted anyone to die, I swear it, Erica, but Charlotte got really excited about the idea. It was like she wanted to see what would happen if we faked a Heartbreaker death. And then she told me that I had to do it, or she would kill you.
Interesting.
So... Interesting. Liam weighed the two lives and was like, "Yeah, okay,
fair enough."
I mean, that's one. That's a callous way of looking. The other is that he's been backed into a corner and made it an impossible decision.
Mm-hmm. I'm trembling. I see Terry's corpse sprawled on the floor like I'm still standing in the gymnasium. It's hard to believe Liam really killed her, even after hearing his confession. But it's also hard to think that if I had never checked on Maddie that night. You kill someone else to save a life. I don't think one cancels the other.
It's more than that. If Charlotte went after you, it would be a disaster for the town. Who could we trust to keep the peace? Julian's hired guards? The mayor? He won't let us get away with anything. This town needs you, and it needs you alive.
So you went along with the plan to distract me.
I don't know. It all happened so fast. 1 second Charlotte had the idea, the next I had to follow through or you'd be dead.
All of this sounds like a bad excuse for reprehensible behavior.
Please believe me. I didn't want to. I didn't want any of this, but now that you're here, if Charlotte sees you, you're dead anyway. Then it was all for nothing. You'll be dead, the town will fall apart, and Terry will have died for nothing.
I don't care about your moral quandaries right now, Liam. I'm here to arrest you for murder. Will you accept justice, or will you resist? I feel as if a boulder's on my chest. I can barely breathe from fear, but Liam doesn't look much better off. He paces back and forth across the floor, his steps disturbingly fast. Sweat drips from his brow, and finally...
Yes, I'll go with you. Fuck Charlotte, fuck Julian, fuck this fucking mansion.
Are you being serious?
I should have never done it. I should have come to you, I should have fought back against them, and now everything is so much worse.
He holds out his hands.
Jail is better than this place. Get me out of here, Erica. But until this mansion is a tiny speck behind us, you need to be as quiet as a mouse. Do you understand me?
I understand.
I honestly did not expect Liam to actually be the murderer behind that. Fascinating. Chapters? Chapter 5. I could read it just fine. I was lying to you about it being an S. A train arrived today at the station. It carried 3 cars full of fresh food, drinks, and assorted supplies. These were things we need, so I find it hard to complain. Shirts, shoes, underwear, soap. And most importantly, things we can eat. Things we can't grow here even if we tried. Fruits and vegetables and fresh meat. We set up an ad hoc shop at the dollar store, and it's amazing to see the change that has come over the town. Suddenly, we don't have to worry about whether this isolation will kill us. Suddenly, everything is almost normal again. But there's something that sticks in my craw, and I can't shake it. You know, I'm the mayor of this town. Have been for 8 years. I grew up here, and I can't, well... my voice changes every so often while I'm speaking as well. I can't remember the last time a train came into Bataille. I can't even remember setting foot on the train station. Did we always have a train station? Of course we did. It's just that I can't remember, but there's no other explanation. I must have forgotten. It's not like it could have just appeared out of nowhere. I didn't even consider that. That's fucking rad. So, does that mean the train station itself is also part of the fucking Eldritch architecture?
Probably.
What? Fascinating. Fascinating.
So we've got the 2 churches, we've got the towers, we've got the town hall, we've got the train station. What isn't?
It feels like it's fucking Evangelion at this point. Just like the whole city is just waiting underground until it's clear, and then it just like shoom. I have to admit, I'm surprised that you never resisted these bars. I believe I'm actually more comfortable here. You might think that until you have to ask me to leave the room so you can use the toilet. We actually don't need to, I don't want to hear anymore. Unless we eat normal food, in which case, what? What did I just say? Sorry. I just feel relieved. You're in jail. You killed a woman. But I'm alone. I don't like that feeling. No Julian, no Charlotte, no, His voice trails off. Someone else you want to tell me about? No. No, just myself, I suppose. I'll never be alone for myself, but this is as good as it gets. Will they come for you? Will they try and free you? To be honest, I don't know. What's going on, Liam? What is this all about? Clearly you and your family know more than you're letting on. More about what? I don't know! Tell me! The contingency, the towers, what is going on outside Bataille? Not much I'm privy to, but I'll answer to the best of my knowledge. Interesting! Okay. So we finally get a chance to learn some stuff here.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna get to ask everything, so let's start with the towers. And since apparently August and Maddie are waiting politely outside for the scene to finish, would you like to be Erica again?
Sure. Tell me what you know about the towers.
I wish I could tell you. I've been trying to figure that out. You're right about one thing. My siblings are involved with more than you know. More than either of us knows. I've spent the last few months working on a way to find out more. I want to study the towers and...
No.
What?
I don't care what you've done. Stop thinking about things like that. Too many people have died trying to cross the towers.
I think you might be right about Erica being glamored into not letting people investigate the towers at this point. Because they've already established how they work, right? But maybe that was somehow like an elaborate... Not setup, but like... They were murdered in such a way as to make it look as if they died trying to cross the towers. And
it seems like they were, because people continued to die, right?
Yeah, but we don't ever get any details on how that happened. We only see the one murder up close in the narration, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if the towers really work the way that they supposedly think, or if they're trying to keep people away from the towers specifically so that way no one tries to walk out and discover that, oh, the reason they kill people is different than we thought.
And something must be going on because no one's come through town.
Oh, I'm not saying there isn't something going
happening.
on. I'm just saying that maybe the way that they stop people from leaving isn't what we think it is.
I don't know. I think I don't know, because I think the towers seem to pretty clearly do what they seem to do. But that's not what Erica's trying to stop. Erica's trying to stop anyone from looking into anything about the towers, even thinking about it. Not
right.
Sorry to interrupt.
No. You're absolutely right about that. I'm curious to see what we'll learn about them then. I don't want to cross them. I want to figure out how they work so I can shut them down. That doesn't sound so unreasonable, does it?
There's no way inside of them, at least none that I know of.
Actually, never mind. I'll drop it. Of course you would know a way inside. Any other questions? That's about vampires.
Yeah. I still need to understand your people better.
My people?
Vampires.
Oh, we drink blood. We don't like the sun. We sometimes lose control. What else is there to know?
How did you become vampires? Who bit you? Was it Julian or Charlotte?
I don't think anyone bit me. Not Julian or Charlotte either. I think some people can get converted through a bite, but I don't know much about that.
Then how does it work? Where did vampires come from?
I don't have any idea. We just are. Do you ask the clouds where they come from?
First, I can't talk to the clouds. I've tried. Second, I know how clothes are made. They told me.
Are they chatty?
No.
Oh. Earmarking that for later. My point is that as far as I can tell, we have always existed. There have always been vampires.
Do you have any weaknesses?
I told you, the sun makes us uncomfortable. Other than that, we can see our reflection. We can eat garlic. We're not disgusted by religion. In fact, my brother and sister are quite involved with the church.
The Church of Lucius Christ?
Yeah, that's right.
When did that begin? Do you have memories of Jesus Christ, too?
I do remember Jesus, actually. It's like a split in my memories I don't understand.
That's interesting. So whatever's going on is affecting Liam, too. So maybe it's not the Batailles.
Or maybe they're not as powerful to stop whatever's happening as they were hoping.
Yeah.
Interesting. My family worships Lucius, so that's all that matters now.
Oh. Most people seem to only remember one or the other, so that's unique. I am never going to find anyone who can explain that one, am I?
Liam just shrugs. Anything else?
What's happening outside of Bataille?
That's a good question. I've asked Charlotte what she knows, and all she'll say is that it's dangerous.
Dangerous how?
She won't explain it to me. I don't think she'll even explain it to Julian. She's never gone as far as to say she's responsible for the towers, but she believes they are protecting us from something.
That's awfully vague.
But I don't think it's wrong. You can feel it, can't you? The world has turned.
I don't know about that. All I know is we're surrounded by towers that'll kill us if we get too close.
Yeah, that's what happened. But I think it's important to think about why.
If you have any answers, I'll take them.
Yeah, because if it was dangerous outside the towers, why would you need to keep people in instead of keep things out? If someone was going to just leave, and it was, then the danger outside would surely be enough of an incentive for them to stay. And if they thought they could survive, then I guess good luck to them. But no, they keep people in.
And the way it works, it would seem like there's not a difference between keeping people out and keeping them in, right?
Well, we haven't seen anyone try to
anything.
cross the other direction yet.
We haven't. But given that, as described, we have a sensor, and if you go near it, your head explodes. It'd seem that works quite well on folks trying to get in, too.
Yeah,
we haven't seen it, but
I'm just wondering if there's a subtlety to how the towers work that we're assuming that
maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, you'll have to get those out of Charlotte. I'm sorry. Any more questions?
No, that's it. You don't know anything, and if you do, you're not talking.
Julian and Charlotte are who you want to talk to if you want answers.
So, they really don't tell you anything? I just find it hard to believe.
They don't tell me shit. They don't see me as one of them. Believe it, I finally do.
If that's true, then I'm wasting time. You said they put you up to killing Terry.
I swear it.
Then the next step is to bring them in too. Maybe when you're all in this cell, they'll have time to explain everything to both of us.
You can't do that.
It's conspiracy to commit murder. They are just as culpable as you.
That's not what I mean. They aren't like me. They won't come willingly. And if it ends in violence, you will not come out on top.
I have to try. I'll see if I can get any help from the mayor.
Well, this can only end poorly. Alright. Now we're back in the office. Whee! Talk to Liam like this? Nope. Hey, Liam. Just vibing? That's cool. That's cool. Anything to look at in here? Boop. Oh, yo! Oh, worm? I actually get to go out into the hallway, huh?
Oh. Can any of the doors be interacted with? Oh, there's stuff.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Nothing to interact with over here, but there's still stuff we can look at. There's an ashtray. Package, some binders. Over here. Interesting. Sheriff Ryan, I saw you bringing in someone. You figure out what happened to the principal?
I did. It was Liam Bataille at the direction of Charlotte Bataille. Why am I still... I guess I'm Erica now.
You can be if you want to, as long because there doesn't seem to be anyone else in the scene, and I don't want to talk to myself for 40 minutes.
Okay.
You have to be kidding. Why in the world would Liam Bataille hurt Principal Vincent?
I don't know. Maybe because they're vampires? It was supposed to be a distraction and turn me against August Flynn again.
Weren't you always against August Flynn?
He was helping me with the Jessica Murdoch situation. Besides, you were the one who told me to free him.
I said to let him go, not deputize him. Well, that's pretty far down my list of concerns right now. Since you've brought Liam Bataille in, I assume he came willingly?
You don't think I could have apprehended him myself?
Not really, no.
We have to bring in Julian and Charlotte, too. They forced him to commit the murder. I suspect I'm going to need some help with that.
You're right about that.
Maddie and I need some support. You know the town better than I do. Who can we trust to deputize for this?
I'm not going to endanger anyone like that. You want to go and get yourself hurt trying to arrest the Batailles, you go right ahead. I won't like that I have to find another sheriff, but I'll do it.
You're really just going to let them get away with murder?
It's not like I have a choice.
We can run the supply train by ourselves.
The train's not my only concern. We lost enough people in this town. We go up against the Batailles, they may just slaughter us all.
That's all the more reason to bring them in, if they're that dangerous.
Do you hear what I am saying? We can't stand up to them, not right now.
So they just get to run wild and kill whoever they want.
I don't like it, but we have to survive. They're not just our benefactors, Sheriff, right? They're also our potential destroyers.
This severely compromises my ability to keep the peace in this town.
I hate to tell you this, Sheriff, but the Batailles are the peace in the town. They're the real power here, not you and not me.
This town is run by vampires, and you're just okay with that.
There's nothing we can do. I'm sorry.
I think I'm going to go home for the day.
Good idea. You need a break. I'll be back tomorrow, right?
We'll see.
Well, that's the most fucking disheartening thing. Like, yeah, sorry. No, actually, no, you're not all that important. You only have as much power as the people above you let you have. Like that peace that exists to serve the needs of the few people in control, huh? I don't know. Maybe there's something to. Maybe there's a metaphor here about rich people like effectively owning the local police department. I don't know. Do you think there's a metaphor there?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure some smart people in the comments can figure it out. As I'm leaving the station, Maddie hurries up to me.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm headed home.
Did you learn anything new from Liam?
No, absolutely nothing. He wants to go inside the towers. At this point, maybe I should just let him try.
Are you okay?
Not really.
What's going on?
You know, Maddie, I've tried to keep this town together. I've tried to make things as normal as possible. But this place is all we have anymore, after all.
But there are vampires now, and that's definitely not normal.
That's not the only problem. It's all just a lie. Nothing's normal. Nothing has been normal since last year. This place is hell.
This place is my home.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way.
Of course you did, and I understand. Even though I grew up here, I never really felt like I belonged. You're from the city. This place would probably be awful for you, even if you could leave. Now you're trapped here.
Now we're all trapped here in a town ruled by a family full of vampires and no one who can stand up against them.
And that's not true. You stood up to them today. You solved Terry's murder and brought in Lee and Bataille.
It's not enough.
Maybe I should come home with you. Seems like you could use the company.
I'm fine, and I have a roommate.
Well, for my sake then, I'd rather not be home alone after.
Oh, right. In that case, yeah, sure.
Thanks. Let's just go back to your place then.
Smooth moves. Smooth moves, Mads. Say, is Maddie the only one who hasn't invited us out on a date yet at this point? Did August ever invite us out on a date? Because Liam,
He didn't.
both Liam and Julian explicitly invited us out on a date to get us to know us better. And I think we're pretty clear that these are the 4 routes at this point.
Yep.
And we still haven't decided if we want to go with Maddie route for the maximum gay factor, or if we want to go with August route because he's such a shit.
Hey, Erica, there's something on your doorstep.
Is it another goat head? Looks like the mail. I wonder if the Batailles are suing me.
We don't have a courthouse.
I don't think that would stop them. They'd be the judge, jury, and,
Are you sure you're okay?
No. Let's just see what it says. I reached for the letter wedged underneath Stacy's welcome mat. On second thought, this wasn't delivered via mail. I've told Fred to use the mailboxes 100 times. I take shortcuts, but putting a letter down to the ground like this would actually be more work for him. So when I touch the letter, I feel a chill on my skin. Something is not right.
That's what you keep saying.
No, I mean, there's something strange about this letter.
Well, open it.
My hands tremble as I break the seal. I think somewhere in the back of my mind, I know exactly what it is. I have been expecting it. Dear Erica Wright, you have been chosen by the Bataille Repatriation Society. You've been selected to venture into the world outside the towers. I'm sorry that this invitation has taken so long to reach you. We know that you have wanted to leave since the day you arrived. We needed to make the proper preparations. We need to be sure that the process works, and we have formulated a way to repatriate you to the world outside. However, some of those steps will require action to be taken within the town, which is something we cannot effectuate. You need to take these tasks upon yourself. We also need to choose a companion. We can let you leave, but we cannot let only you leave. Only 2 may pass through the towers at once. See, I told you there was a subtlety to it. If we're to believe them. If we're to believe them. When you are ready, write the name of your chosen companion on the line at the bottom of this letter and deliver it to the train station. Secure it beneath the stairs to the main platform where an agent will retrieve it. Meanwhile, do not tell anyone but your chosen companion about this letter or our society. If you do, we must rescind our offer. This is also where you lock yourself into the route, probably.
Yeah?
Sincerely, the Bataille Repatriation Society.
What is it?
Don't pretend you're not reading it over my shoulder.
Do you think it's real?
Of course it's not real. Of course you can't just leave Bataille.
What about Jessica and Gary?
Jessica and Gary are dead.
You don't know that.
I guess I don't know much of anything. I mean, we've kind of dismissed it out of hand because it seemed so unlikely, but I guess it could be the case that they did find a way out, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
You know what, strangely? Knowing that the train station wasn't there before makes it more likely that they got out in my book. That it's not just a regular thing that was set up and kind of retrofitted into this system that they're using now, but something that was designed along with the towers to appear at a certain point. That makes it more likely in my head that it can get through.
So, are you going to do it? Are you going to respond to them?
This is such an exploitative bullshit. They're taking what everyone is hoping for, a way out, and mining it for... I still don't know what they want. I don't know what they're up to, but there has to be some kind of catch. Fucking monsters. They're worse than the Bataille family.
Hold up there.
Better to just kill someone here, drain them of their blood without them ever knowing. It's better than this false fucking hope of freedom that can only end in one way. Somewhere out there, Jessica and Gary's brains are splattered across the ground because they believe some bullshit like this.
You still haven't answered my question. Are you going to go through with it?
Of course I am.
Even though...
After all, someone has to bring them down, right? Even if I can't stop the Batailles, I can stop these fuckers. Because I can do that.
What if the Batailles are behind this too?
Then... I don't know, fuck me, I guess. At least,
You're definitely not okay. The letter says you need to name a companion. Just so you know, I'd go with you. After all, the letter says you can't tell anyone else but your companion, and I already know.
You'll keep this to yourself, won't you?
Well, yes, but...
We won't be going anywhere. We'll be tracking down the scammers who sent the letter and putting them in jail.
In that case, I'll help you put the scammers in jail. If you want me to.
I don't know. I crumple the letter in my hand just hard enough to make a point, but not hard enough to damage it. I just... Alright, just gonna smooth that out later.
Is there someone else you'd rather do this with?
I told you, I don't know. I don't even know why I want to do this.
Do you want to find the Bataille Repatriation Society, or do you want to leave Bataille?
You can't leave Bataille. You can only die.
Once again, you didn't answer my question.
I'm sorry, Maddie. I need some time alone. I need to think.
Okay. If you need to talk...
I need to act. I just don't know what that means.
You know where to find me.
She offers me a hug, and I can't bring myself to turn her down. She pulls me close and brings her mouth to my ear.
Just don't quit on me, okay, Sheriff Rat? Sherika.
Can you just say my name one more time?
Sherika.
Oh, thank you. I don't respond. She gives me a sad look and turns away, and I return my attention to the letter. I stare at the blank line at the end of the paper. I know I have no choice but to do this, but who do I want to bring with me? Other than Maddie. August, he's helped me with Jessica's case so far, and I'm sure he'd be intrigued. Maybe Liam, he wants to make up for what he's done, and this might be the way. I try not to think about the fact that my options are a serial killer and a vampire. Instead, I go inside and collapse on the couch. Not sure if I can sleep, but I need to stop thinking for a little while. But not Julian. I thought for sure there was a Julian route.
Yeah, I wonder... Well, it seems like we're not picking now.
Oh, true. So where do you... I think we're gonna... The decision has to be between August and Maddie because I don't want to talk to myself for the second half of the game.
All right.
Do you have any strong feelings either way on this one? What are your thoughts?
Whichever, either, both.
So, unfortunately, we can't do both. It does have to be either.
There is a save function.
You know what? There is a save function. There is a save function, isn't there? I'm horrified to see a small mob of townsfolk waiting for me outside the precinct. I recognize the Murdocks, the Reeds, and some teachers from the high school. It's across the street they swarm around me.
Sheriff, is it true? Did you arrest Liam Bataille? Is he the one who...
I can hardly stand to look into their frantic eyes. I don't want to tell them the truth, but how can I avoid it any longer? It's not like I could just call a press conference. I'll have to tell them eventually, one way or another. Yes, Liam Bataille killed Terry Vincent. Cries of dismay ripple through the group.
It can't be true. The Bataille family wouldn't do something like that. Especially Liam. He's such a sweetheart.
He confessed.
This ain't right. Someone must have put him up to it.
I don't know. I always thought something was fishy about that Liam fellow, and now there's proof.
Shut up, Steve. I don't believe it. Must have been that filthy heartbreaker. He in there too? Where's August Flynn?
Before I can reply, I notice that a young man has already broken away from the group and is storming towards the entrance of City Hall. I exchange confused glances with Mrs. Murdoch.
That's Terry's younger brother, Caleb Vincent.
My heart twists into a knot. I didn't realize Princent had a brother in town. Everything happened too fast yesterday. Caleb, stop! He doesn't listen. He's already at the door, shaking them furiously. I believe they're still locked. That can only be because Mayor Ward hasn't arrived yet.
Let me in, Sheriff Wright. I want to look him in the eyes. I want to ask him if he killed my sister.
Got the same haircut and everything. The ferocity of his voice chills me to the bone. I can't let him in there. I shouldn't let any of them inside. Listen, all of you. Justice will be served, I assure you, but not now. Not yet.
You gonna put him on trial or something?
Mayor Ward will discuss the next steps. Until then.
Next steps. I'll tell you the next steps. An eye for an eye, a life for a life. Simple as that.
Oh, I don't get to be Steve anymore.
Oh, you were Steve?
I was.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all good.
You should be Steve.
No, you can be Steve.
I don't want
I'm
to be
struggling to
Steve.
think of a comeback when I feel something tugging at my hip. I turn and talk to see Caleb's hands around the handle of my gun. Panic rushes through me like wildfire. I don't think, I just act. I wrest the gun away from him and point it into the air, and the crack of the gunshot fades away and eerie silence seeps into its place. Everyone's going to want to move at least like 10 yards away from that. I don't know if I pointed it directly up or if there was an angle, but I don't know where that's coming down. Just fair warning, if it's not murder if it hits you now. I struggle to find my voice. Vernon was right about one thing. We don't yet know the whole story. Terry's killer is behind bars. For now, that is what matters. As for justice, we'll serve it in due time. I don't give them time to respond. While they remain stupefied by the gunshot, I unlock the doors to City Hall and step inside. And then I lock the doors behind me. I take a moment to catch my breath. My heart won't stop pounding like it wants to flee my body. I don't think my half-assed speech will keep their anger at bay for long, but I don't even want to deal with that right now. I still have a letter tucked in my jacket, whispering sweet lies of escape. Interesting. It does seem like things are coming to a head here.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh! Sorry, sometimes I slide around.
Liam's movements are eerily fast as he gets up to see me. His hands fidget with his clothes. The air around him seems to crackle with energy. But despite his energy, there are bags under his eyes, and an unsettling desperation gleams from his eyes.
Good morning, Erica.
Good morning, Liam. Are you hungry? He winces and turns away.
Very.
I mean, you know, I can fix some eggs and bacon.
Maybe I could try some bacon. Raw, please.
Oh, right. Well, less work for me. As it so happens, I don't have much of an appetite either. I throw some bacon on a plate and bring it back to Liam. Here you go.
Thanks.
He takes the plate and fingers the bacon, but doesn't eat it yet.
Poke. Poke. Did I hear a gunshot outside?
Yes, some people were outside yelling for your head. I fired into the air to disperse them.
Did you tell them to back up at least 10 yards?
Of course. This isn't my first rodeo.
Good, I wouldn't want a second murder on our hands.
It wouldn't be a murder. I warned them.
Exactly.
Horror pulls at his face, but I can't bring myself to feel pity right now. I walk away to fix myself a cup of coffee. A few moments later, I hear him coughing and sputtering. Then he yells and throws the plate against the wall. Hey, you broke the plate.
It's just a fucking plate.
I don't have many plates left. And where do you think I'm going to get another one? Plates haven't arrived on the train for 2 months. They're sold out at the dollar store, and the handcrafted plates from Nancy cost a fortune. But I guess you wouldn't know that. First of all, you're filthy rich, and second of all, you probably don't eat off plates anyway.
I'm sorry. It's just... How many people were out there? Who were they?
About 9. Ms. Murdoch, Mr. Reed, and Terry had a brother, apparently. His name's Caleb. Liam sags backwards, his eyes splintering with tears. They want justice, and I can't say I blame them.
Maybe you should just let them in then. Let them hurt me. I deserve it.
He sounds sincere, but as much as I want to see him punished for what he did, I'm disturbed by the utter despair in his voice. How exactly do you see that panning out? First of all, can you be killed, or would your wounds just heal miraculously?
I don't know, but I do heal quickly.
Secondly, what if you decided to fight back? How many people could you take down in an effort to defend yourself? And thirdly, am I the only one with any fucking decency left in this town? There used to be something called law and order. It was my favorite TV show. But the TV signals can't make it past the towers. We don't let people barge into a prison and beat someone up so they can feel better.
And get you like a DVD box set or something. Just like, okay, maybe that's not the point right now.
I kick the trash can next to my desk, spilling paper onto the floor. A pained silence follows my outburst, until finally, Liam leans over the smashed plate. He picks up a piece of bacon, forces it into his mouth, and swallows. After a moment, he gags and retches horribly, but he manages to keep it down. Then he reaches down and picks up another piece. What are you doing?
Trying to eat this bacon.
Okay, but why?
The more we eat human food, the more we get used to it. If we go a long time without drinking blood, we become more human.
What do you mean by more human?
Like Detroit. Duh. Everyone knows that. It's a common turn of phrase that everyone has heard. The sun bothers us less, we start to lose our strength and influence over humans. Beyond that, I don't know. The longest I've ever managed to go was a month.
He gags a little, then puts the next piece of bacon back down. Do you think you could have gone longer?
I don't know. The next time I fed, I lost control. I hadn't been interrupted, but that won't happen next time. There won't be a next time. I will do better. I have to do better.
He stuffs another piece of bacon into his mouth. I watch him struggle to eat with a mixture of disgust and admiration. I know I should only see the monster who killed Princeton, but right now I also see a man willing to sacrifice himself to right his own wrongs. What am I going to do with him? The town won't be satisfied if I keep him behind bars, and honestly I don't want to become his permanent babysitter. The letter in my jacket feels like it's burning against my skin. I'm not supposed to tell anyone else about it, so I'll just feel out Liam's stance on the issue. Liam, how do you feel about the Bataille Repatriation Society?
The one that freed Jessica and Gary?
Supposedly, yes.
Who knows? If they really managed to get 2 people out of Bataille, then I want to meet them and ask them what the fuck is going on.
I think it's a lie. I still think Jessica and Gary are dead, and this BRS nonsense is really just a BS cover-up.
BRS? Is that what we're going with now? It doesn't sound as menacing that way. BS. Nice one. So, are you going to search for this BS society? Got him.
Got him.
Wait, the S twice is Bataille Society. Well, I'll work on it.
Yes, and it so happens I have a good lead.
He smiles weakly. Oh, shit, sorry. I always knew you were a good sheriff, Erica. Sherika, sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I fight a flush of warmth spreading to my cheeks. Anyway, if I go after them, I'll need a partner.
A partner?
That's right. I'd like to retrace some of the steps Jessica and Gary took before they disappeared. There's a cabin near the perimeter where Jessica and Gary stayed briefly. When I searched it, I found a letter from the BRS about a process they followed before leaving.
Wait, you did?
Is it just me or is it just Liam only?
It's Liam only, and I don't know because I turned off the sounds for everyone, but it's only Liam that gets them. I don't know why. I could not explain that to you. I can check the settings here.
Yeah.
Maybe his is accidentally put under sound effects instead of voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no one else is. Yeah, so I'm guessing they're just miscategorized. Yeah.
Maybe, although I still think Maddie might have planted that letter, in which case Julian's probably a part of this whole charade. Liam looks sick again. Do you know anything about that, Liam?
No, not really. I know that Julian fed on Maddie a few times, and that's all I know, honestly.
His casual mention of Julian feeding on Maddie makes bile rise to my throat. I swallow it back. You really know nothing of the BRS?
No, I'll be honest. It's possible Julian and Charlotte are behind it. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, but it might be real, too. I mean, someone made those towers, didn't they? Someone sends us that train every week. If the BRS is real, Julian and Charlotte would probably oppose it. They don't want people to leave. They like having this little bubble of food in their control.
My hands clench into fists.
But Charlotte is out here championing it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't square. I was opposed them on that, by the way. I just want to get out. And if you ask me, the BRS might be our best chance. If you'll have me, Erica, then I would love to help you. And I know that I could. The BRS is a trick. I should be able to figure it out before it's too late. I know more about the towers than anyone.
Whenever I asked you about the towers, you didn't know a damn thing.
Well, I don't know anything useful to the average layman, but I've studied them. And I have some theories. Theories I haven't been able to explore because Julian and Charlotte wouldn't let me. If we work together...
Can it be true? Can he really have useful theories about the towers? I shake my head fiercely. Let me be clear, I don't think anyone can escape. I only want to bring down the BRS. But if you have knowledge that can help me do that... I shake my head again. I remember Terry's heartless body spread across the gymnasium floor. He seems to sense my thoughts. He hangs his head wearily.
I'll redeem myself in any way I can. If there's anything I can do to help you win this fight, Erica, then I want to do it. I never asked for this power, but... I never asked for this. But I have it, and I can help you. I'll protect you from the monsters. You help me get inside those towers.
I sigh and tuck the letter away again. I'll have to give it some thought.
Interesting. So if we bring Julian along with us... Not Julian. If we bring Liam along with us, then we might get more insight as to what is going on with the towers and the architecture around the town.
Yeah, plus, he is probably going to be way more capable at protecting our lives than anybody else we bring.
That's true. That's true.
Interesting.
I mean, given that it's an Otome game and there's a romance component to it, I'm guessing that, you know, this is probably what leads... This is assuredly what leads to the romantic option, so no matter what, there will be a way of success, right? But I imagine the information we get about Bataille is probably different depending on which route we take.
Yep.
I see you there. I see you there. Loading screen. I wait as long as I can to leave the precinct, checking the view from every window until I'm sure there's not another mob. I know that Mayor Ward came in at some point and exchanged words with them, but right now I don't really care what he said, so long as it calmed them down. But somehow one person managed to stay hidden when I check the windows, and I see him as soon as I step outside.
Huh? His sun hat!
Good morning, Erica. His sun hat is so good! We saw Charlotte's sun hat as well, but this is our first time seeing Julian's, and I love it.
Everything in my body tells me to draw my gun, but I doubt that will do me any good unless I shoot while I still have the element of surprise. And as much as I'm tempted to shoot Julian for what he did to Maddie, I'm also curious what he came here to say. I notice that Julian's hat and gloves protect him from any direct sunlight. Even so, isn't it a little too sunny out here for you?
Yes, it's unpleasant, but I wanted you to know that I mean no harm.
Whether you mean harm or not, you're a vampire. You bring it wherever you go.
I'm not a fan of I liked her stance earlier when she was like, it's not about you being a vampire, it's about you murdered someone.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, just them inherently being a vampire doesn't mean anything good or bad. So, I would assume it's something just morally neutral.
Julian flinches like I slapped him.
Ow! Did you just slap me? Was that your 6p? That was really powerful. Very well, but you know that I need blood to survive. Beyond that, you know very little, and I would prefer that you not make gross assumptions.
Then let's sit down and have a long talk about what it means to be a vampire. I have plenty of questions.
That isn't important right now. I came to.
I don't care why you came, and it is absolutely important. How many people in this town have died to quench your thirst?
Another assumption. No one must die for us to drink our fill.
Well, that's some good news, if it's true, but I doubt it. You said us, so how many of you are there?
Just my family, just the three of us.
I'm not sure I believe him, but at least it's a start. I'll rephrase my last question then. How many people has your family killed, whether you needed to or not?
I can't speak for everyone. As for me, I've only killed one person, and it was an accident. Her name was Brittany. We never knew her. She said it was an accident and will never happen again. That's how murders work. Murder accident, you get 1.
Yeah, you get 1 free. That's in the Constitution.
I'm glad that you're up on your constitutional law, which still applies even here at Bataille.
He waits, and I study him well. I study him as well as I can under the shade of his hat. Again, I don't know whether he's telling the truth. I only know that he's smart. He knew I wouldn't believe him if he said he'd killed no one. Better to give me something than nothing. 1 murder is too much. 1 murder should put you in jail.
I understand the sentiment, but in our current situation, that's simply not practical now, is it? For example, you shouldn't have arrested Liam. You saw how the town reacted. It will be very difficult to repair my family's reputation.
I don't give a shit about your family's reputation.
You should. We maintain order in Bataille, and whether you like it or not, we are their last standing semblance of authority. Besides, if I went to jail or lost my influence, what would happen to the train?
Maybe you could explain how the train operates to someone else, like me.
That's not going to happen. Please, Erica, stop daydreaming and listen to me. I'm not sure what Liam has told you, but I'm sure it's a lie. We had a fight with him a couple of nights ago. He had a furious temper tantrum. I don't know if Liam killed Terry Vincent, but it's possible. With his mood so hot that night, he might have gone into a frenzy and tried to cover it up with what he knew about the Heartbreaker.
Frenzy? Can you elaborate?
Interesting. So I don't believe him, but it's interesting that he's trying to provide some kind of plausibility for.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be daft. You know what I mean.
I can tell the sunlight is wearing on his body and patience. His posture sags, and he seems paler than usual. Maybe it's also wearing down his mask. You said we had a fight with him. Who else?
Charlotte, of course.
I remember what August said about Julian and Charlotte's relationship. Despite myself, I feel heat flush my cheeks. Do you and Charlotte often team up together against Liam?
What do you mean?
I give him the same look he gave me a moment ago. I think you know what I mean.
I don't know. I suppose not intentionally.
What did you fight about?
That is none of your concern.
It is, if you want me to believe you.
Fine. We fought about a mechanism on one of the towers. Liam wanted to repair it. We said no.
I reel for a moment. Were they really arguing about the towers? And if that's true...
A mechanism on them that Liam wanted to repair. So Liam already knows enough about them to know how to fix them, and have decided that that is the best course of action rather than disabling them. That's fascinating.
Maybe. That might be what's going on.
I mean, if what Julian is telling us is true here.
But I see a slight flash of satisfaction in Julian's eyes, and I remember how smart he is. I can't let this derail me. Liam wouldn't want to repair the towers. He hates them as much as I do.
Of course he does. His true objective would be to get inside, figure out how they operate. He would probably get himself killed, as anyone does who tries to study the towers too closely. Don't you agree, Sherika?
He knows I do. Trumped again. A frustrated silence hangs between us.
In fact, that reminds me of my true purpose this morning, to tell you we share a common enemy. The Bataille Repatriation Society. Whatever this BRS truly is, it needs to be stopped. It is either luring people to their deaths with false information, or it actually knows how to escape Bataille, and that information should not be private. Are we agreed? You know, for someone who's committed a lot of murders, I'm pretty sure that is a very reasonable stance to take here.
Yeah? I continue to study Julian long and hard. If this is another lie, then I want to see where it leads. I might have a lead on the Bataille Repatriation Society, but I'll need a partner in order to pursue it.
I see. That's very interesting. Listen, Sherika, I know you're reeling from your recent discoveries, but you and I are on the same side here. I want to maintain peace and order in Bataille as you do. The BRS disrupts that. I could help you take them down.
How does Charlotte feel about the BRS? She seemed awfully happy to read that letter from the train to the whole town, then hide it from me so I couldn't investigate.
Oh, the letter from Jessica and Gary. She felt the town deserved to know what the letter said, and nothing more.
If you keep bullshitting me, then you can fuck off, Julian Bataille.
Charlotte is Charlotte. What else can I say? She is impulsive. I am not.
Will you keep Charlotte from getting in my way?
Of course.
Then tell her to give me the letter from the train.
I can't do that. It's gone.
Gone?
Yes, I think she lost it.
More bullshit.
Erica, stop fixating on the letter. You have a new lead, don't you? Let's focus on that. If you choose me as your partner, I will help you stop the BRS, I swear it.
I study those red eyes of his as long as I can bear. Then I remind myself it doesn't matter. I can't trust him. Not completely.
And I bet Julian's route will wind up being more of a return to normal, like a return to the status quo here.
Mm-hmm.
Because his interest is in keeping people safe, but that safety fundamentally leading back to what they have right now.
Yep. But what if he's telling the truth about this? What if he's telling the truth about stopping the BRS? And even if he's lying, what if this is my best chance to learn more about his family? I need to think about it.
Of course you do. Meanwhile, please be wary around Liam. I love my brother, and he's a good man, but he's also moody. I think that's why he lost control the other night.
I'll keep that in mind.
Good. Then I'll be on my way.
Are you sure? I think you might faint if you stand here another minute. Maybe we could bet on it. He grimaces, and I think I catch a glimpse of his fangs.
I didn't know you had such a dazzling sense of humor, Erica. If you choose to join forces, then you know where to find me. Whoop. Saved the world. So then,
all right, time to meet up with August.
Yep. And I'm betting August's route is just, well, what do we think the angle on Maddie's route is? From our earlier conversation with her after getting the partner conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't really get a bead on where that story might lead us and what we might learn.
Yeah.
As for August, I'm assuming we might be able to pick out more from what we'll learn from him. I bet his is just going to be get out and don't look back.
Is it?
He
seems fascinated with the contingency.
That is true. That is true.
He
And
wants
especially
to know
if he is
all about what happened here.
especially if he is a vampire hunter, right? Finally, I make my way to August's house. He has helped me already on the case. It seems wrong not to consider his help with the letter, but even so, can I really commit to him as a partner? He's a murderer. I'm sure of it, no matter his denials. Is Maddie the only one who hasn't been confirmed to murder someone? Maddie absolutely has murdered someone, right? It's only fair.
Who hasn't these days?
Most people haven't murdered people, Maddie. But still, he's the only one in Bataille who I know isn't beholden to the vampires controlling the town. That is true. That is true. We don't know the full scope of the glamour, right? That maybe Maddie is still under some level of it.
Mm-hmm.
He's an outsider. We're the only two outsiders, so I at least have to consider it. Very hesitantly, I knock on the door. I halfway expect him to be drunk and belligerent again, so I prepare myself. Much to my surprise, he seems to have pulled himself together.
Erica, what brings you here? Has someone framed me for another murder?
Please don't make me regret this.
Regret what?
I have a lead on the Bataille Repatriation Society, but before I do anything about it, I need to find a partner. Put simply, I want to reenact the steps Jessica and Gary took before they disappeared. He studies me quietly. He continues to stare at me for much longer than socially appropriate, until finally...
So you believe there's a way out?
No, I still think Jessica and Gary are dead. The BRS is probably a scam.
So you want to get yourself killed?
No, I want to make those bastards pay for whatever they did to Jessica and Gary. Even more, I want to punish them for spreading false hope.
I understand your interest in this society. I'm intrigued myself, but you should proceed with caution. Either they killed Jessica and Gary, then covered it up quite well, or they actually know how to get people out of Bataille. In which case, I'd love to chat with them myself, but I'd also secure backup.
Yeah, see, he seems more interested in getting out. I know, and that's why I'm here.
As to the source of this society, I see three distinct possibilities. First, the Bataille family are playing games with the people of this town. I don't know their purpose, but I suspect it relates to their rather unusual nature.
The fact that they are vampires?
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that one. The second possibility is that there's another power at play here. Perhaps it is the power that controls the towers, or the power that controls whatever the towers are protecting us from.
That's a lot of speculation as well.
What if there is a way out, though? You don't want to believe there's a way out of this town, but the circumstances that trap us are rather fantastical. Who is to say that there isn't another set of fantastical circumstances that can free us?
I guess that makes more sense, and honestly, it makes more sense that as a philosopher or someone who studies philosophy, he'd be the first one to be like, okay, well, if this is true, then a whole lot of assumptions I had about what is and isn't possible in this world are now bunk. So maybe we should start considering more stuff.
You want to find out, don't you?
What's the third possibility?
That you or I, or both of us, have lost our minds.
What?
It's an idea that's been stirring in the back of my head for some time.
Ooh, bold! Bold move!
How could all of this be real? This contingency, whatever it is, does not fit with everything I knew about the world before. Perhaps the simple answer is that I have suffered some kind of psychotic break.
And what about me?
Once we have started down this road, all manner of paths become open to us.
Yet?
Perhaps you are a figment of my madness. Perhaps you are mad, and I am a figment of yours. The rules, as we understand them, no longer apply, so we must consider the worst.
What good does that do us?
You are a law enforcement officer, Erica, or are you saying the truth doesn't matter to you?
You know, I hadn't actually considered that this entire time, that it might be something on that level. Yeah, the reason all this inexplicable stuff is happening is because that it isn't, and that something much deeper is going on to our perception of the world. And given how Erica likes to get fixated on some of those things over and over again, that does seem like it has merit to at least investigate.
Yeah. Please just ignore me. You do realize that this third horrific possibility changes nothing, don't you? Even before the contingency, we could never be sure of what was real and what was merely our own perception.
August, I've got two hands to show you. Oh, I've heard of the... Oh! Oh! Oh, you meant... Oh, okay.
It was always best to move forwards as if our experiences were surely real. The same goes for right now. The same goes for whatever lead you've discovered.
I'm wondering if she should have just shared that lead with everyone, because everyone can now figure it out, right? Pretty easily that she's received a letter from them. But what are you saying?
You need a partner, right? I'm your best candidate.
Oh, really? A serial killer is my best option as a partner? I don't think so.
You still doubt me. I didn't kill Principal Vincent, Liam confessed.
Yes, and I wouldn't have caught him without your help. But you knew more about the Heartbreaker than you should have.
I'm a good study.
How long are you going to keep denying it?
For as long as you need me to.
I look at him with surprise. There's a knowing smile on his face, one that gives me goosebumps and makes my heart race at the same time.
You live in your own state of denial, Erica. You cling to law and order like a log in a raging river.
No, I live in the state of Missouri, apparently.
You think the log will keep you connected to the shore. You refuse to accept that the shore is gone. You're floating in an endless raging sea now.
I want to mock him for making a useless metaphor, but for some reason, I can't. His eyes are locked onto mine with an intensity that renders me speechless.
In truth, I'm glad you cling to your little log. What power is there in a storm if the world is made of water?
I finally manage a meager reply. You're not making any sense.
I need you, Erica. I need your stubborn denial to measure the present against the past. But you need me even more. You need someone who can stay afloat in the current once you lose your little lifeboat. You know it as well as I do. That's why you came to me about this opportunity.
I'm considering other people as my partner. I just wanted your opinion.
Is that true?
I hear a new edge to his voice, one of anger and panic.
How else can I possibly prove myself to you? I helped you with your missing persons case. A case we both agree isn't closed yet. I helped you find Principal Vincent's killer, and I've been a perfectly good member of society ever since my release.
That doesn't make up for your past crimes.
I'm smarter than anyone in this town but you, and maybe the Batailles, if I'm giving you all the benefit of the doubt, and whatever I did or didn't do in the past, I'm not a fucking vampire. Don't toy with me on this, Erica. I want to join you on this mission.
You want to leave?
Not necessarily. I just want to find the dungeon master and give them a taste of their own medicine. Isn't that what you want too? So, what are you afraid of?
I must have let my guard down because I suddenly feel his hand around my neck, and we're not sure when it got there. By the time I move to react, his hand has moved up to my jaw to rest on my cheek. He continues to lean close to me, eyes gleaming.
I don't think you're afraid of getting hurt, not physically at least. Your fear is much deeper than that. You're afraid you might start actually listening to what I have to say. Even worse, you're afraid you might enjoy listening to me speak.
August, that's enough. August can hear how serious I am because he drops his hand and suddenly steps back. My mind keeps reeling. Both of us stand in silence for a moment, but my thoughts rage in turmoil. I don't know how much of what he said is true. I don't know how I felt about being so close to him.
So, you'll keep thinking about it?
He's looking away now, almost shy. I think he knows he almost went too far. He must really want to be my partner. Yes, I will think on it.
Good. Can I do anything else to help you decide, or anything else to help you in general? Maybe I could...
You've done enough, August. I turn to go.
When can I expect to hear from you?
Once I feel like talking to you again. Not sure what else to say. I force my feet across the threshold and close the door between us. All right. Well, if those are their pitches for each of the routes, I think I've come down on one that I'm feeling strong on. How about you? You got any?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling more strongly about August route.
Yeah, let's do it.
I like the way he's describing what he wants to know and what he suspects is going on. And I think, and as much as I want to do the gay route and go with Maddie, we didn't really get any indication of what her route is going to tell us about the overall mystery, right?
Yep. And I also liked that of all of them, August is the one who is clearly desperate to be picked. So
yeah.
That's sus as fuck. And like, yeah, I gotta let our sussy little baka.
Not to mention, I feel like
tag along.
I feel like we here at Two Queers Play can throw the straights a bone every once in a while. I know we here on this channel like to talk about gay stuff all the time, and we do. We are a big fan of the gays, but every once in a while, I feel like it's fine for us to step outside of our comfort zone and let the straights have one. An excerpt from the journal of Jason Ruth, Bataille Police. October 4th. I don't cry. I wish they'd stop talking about how I cried. I won't see my mother again. I won't see my father again. I won't see my sister again unless this works, and I doubt this will work. What was I supposed to do? How strong could I be in the face of all this? Can't I break just once? Can't I have that? And cry? I sobbed. There's a difference. October 7th. We have the explosives, we have the vehicles, and I am so ready to get out of this bullshit town. I wish I felt good about this, but we're not thinking this through. We've seen what happens when people challenge the towers. The woman from the feds tells us we're being stupid, and I'm afraid she's right. I want to stop them. I want to stand up to them and tell them they're making a mistake, but they won't listen to me. Even now, they call me a pussy. They call me a queer. All because I felt something when we were cut off from the rest of the world. I'm sorry that it hurt. I'm sorry that I couldn't contain it. Not because my tears were wrong, but because those tears forced foolish doubt into the minds of people whose trust I need. Now we're charging headlong into disaster, but there's nothing I can do to stop it. May God have mercy on our souls. Also, I feel like August is a good foil for Erica.
Yeah.
Because he's such an asshole. He's the guy you love to hate. Oh, the Q cases. And it's got the poster based on the X-Files movie poster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cute.
Truth is out there.
Back home, I go into my room with the BRS letter and close the door. In fact, you know what? I'm going to drop a hot save right here. Because I bet this is where we make our decision.
Probably so.
I suppose I can't put it off any longer. It's time for me to choose a partner.
Sure was.
Fucking psychic. All right. We're going to go with August.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite shit kid.
Yep.
I almost don't believe what I'm doing as I write down August's name on the letter. Is this really the person I want to help me solve the mystery? The unfortunate truth is that, out of all my choices, he's the only one who hasn't tried to obstruct me in any way. Julian manipulated Maddie into cleaning up the cabin. Sure, she was entranced by him, but that doesn't change what she did. Liam killed Princent. Not August. There's no getting around that fact. That leaves me with August, a man I am 99% certain is the serial killer, but also the only other true outsider in Bataille. At least I can say that his desire to solve this case is certainly real. I fold up the letter and head downstairs where Maddie is waiting for me. She's pacing back and forth, barely able to hold still.
Okay, Erica, who did you pick?
You're not going to believe this, but I picked August. She's quiet for a moment, clearly disappointed.
I guess I get it. He's definitely smart.
I'm sorry, Maddie. I know you wanted to do this with me.
No, maybe you're right. You already have my help. If you don't give August a little preferential treatment, he might lash out. He might decide to stop cooperating.
Uh-oh. Is that a hint as to what might be happening with Maddie down the line here on the...
He's volatile like that. It makes the most logical sense to pick him, and he probably fucking knows it, doesn't he?
I am sure he'll pretend that he knew this would happen all along. So you still want to help even if I didn't pick you?
We still have 2 missing people and a lot of questions.
I feel a pang... Oh, at least Maddie gets to stick around, though. I'm glad. I feel a pang of regret. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe Maddie is the one most dedicated to the cause, but it's too late to turn back now. There's no such thing as save games in real life. With every passing minute since jotting down his name on the letter, I've grown more and more convinced that I need his unique thinking to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to drop this off at the pickup location and tell August.
I'm sure he'll be thrilled.
There's the smallest bit of venom in Maddie's voice, but I don't blame her for it. Do you think maybe she'll go running back to Julian?
I don't know.
Wittingly or no?
It's unclear.
After I drop off the letter, I stop by August's house. When he answers the door, I can see the eagerness on his face. Imagining him there waiting like a puppy, like... because he always does the fucking puppy face. He tries to play it cool, but it's obvious just how much he wants this.
So, Erica, have you made your decision?
Yes, I have. I chose you as my partner. His face lights up for the briefest of moments before he immediately regains his composure.
Of course you did. You knew that you would need someone with my experience and knowledge to solve such an esoteric problem.
Your experience? Do you have any experience at all with police investigations other than avoiding them?
Even if what you accuse me of is true, that's still more experience than anyone else in this town. Now, can you tell me about the lead that inspired this partnership?
Right. The Bataille Repatriation Society sent me a letter. They said that if I picked a partner and continued to follow their instructions, I would be repatriated.
Oh, now that is exciting. Have you responded yet?
Yes, I replied that I selected you, then dropped off my letter at the location they requested, the train station.
Excellent. It's official then. You can't take it back.
That sounds ominous, actually.
Oh, I don't mean it in any threatening fashion. If I wanted to threaten you, I'd just get to the point. You know that.
That is true. August isn't one to fuck around. He's like, I would just fucking threaten you. I respect you enough to threaten you directly.
I just wanted to make sure we were inexorably tied up together in this matter before I started giving it my full attention.
Your full attention? What else have you been doing? Mario Kart?
If you must know, I've been writing a book.
No, you haven't. I've had you in a cell in my office for the last 6 months. I haven't seen you write a single word.
Leaving aside that you refused to give me a pen, yes, I only started it yesterday. Of course, I wouldn't dare tell you about any of this unless we were as intimately acquainted as we are now.
We are not intimately acquainted.
Of course we are. Our fates are bound together and cast into the arms of a mysterious organization that either killed or freed the last two souls to walk our path.
You know what? I'm full of regrets again.
Quite frankly, the vast majority of sexual partners in the United States are nowhere near as intimate as we are now.
Please don't make me regret this. Please don't make me regret this.
So, are you going to ask?
Ask what?
What the book is about?
I would very much like to know what the book is about.
If we're doing it, we should also make sure that the options we're picking from now on are the ones that he likes.
Yeah.
Because I don't... There's still like a like-dislike thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't seem to stop us from picking the route because we pissed we pissed Julian off pretty heavily and we were still able to pick his route. So I can only assume that having a higher affinity will mean something down the line. Fine. What is the book about?
It is about the classic Disney film Aladdin.
I am...
I'm writing a book to confuse you specifically.
Well, it fucking works! You're writing a book about Aladdin.
Unlike most films for children, Aladdin explicitly centers on the class conflict of the setting. You have the Sultan and the Princess, who represent the way almost all meaningful power is inherited through intergenerational transfer. Then there's the villain, the Vizier, who is clearly a member of the professional managerial class and has decided that it is entirely unfair that such power is in the hands of a bumbling idiot. He's right, of course, but instead of realizing that the proletariat are his natural allies, he does what people like him always do. He exploits the labor of the proletariat rather than embrace them. His plan is turned on its head when the laborer he compelled to retrieve a magical lamp, which contains a magical force that is capable of actual transformative change, takes it for himself. Now, of course, with this force, this genie in hand, Aladdin in turn does not use it to overthrow the power structure, but simply to elevate himself inside of it. Are you paying attention?
Yes, but I can't believe you're seriously interested in a kid's movie. What is going on here, August?
Well...
I take a look around. I see a TV VCR combo sitting on the counter. Aladdin is the one movie you've been able to scrounge up since getting out of jail, isn't it? At first I was like, okay, this is a weird fixation for you to have.
Every night he gets drunk, puts on Aladdin, and writes in his head 2 more paragraphs of his Marxist class analysis of Disney films.
Okay, that's really funny as shit.
I'm glad we picked this route.
I'm so glad
The payoff is coming so early.
Oh, August, you are such a shit kid. I love you. Oh.
I have been so terribly bored, Erica.
Fortunately, I'm here to end that.
Yes, the book is on hold now. You have my full attention.
Good.
In return, I must make the first of what are likely many requests. Now that we are in this together, I need to know everything.
Everything?
I've observed you for months. You are a very capable investigator, though your skills have been wasted on drunks and bar fights in this miserable town. I suspect that you have selectively given me information, and similarly, selectively withheld information. Don't worry, I'm not upset. I'd be disappointed if you didn't follow such a rational and intelligent strategy of investigation. But now that needs to end. You put my name down on that letter, so I need the full case file.
There's no case file.
Don't you keep a brown notebook at the office? I've seen you write in it.
That's a personal notebook, not a case file.
I see. You are like me, and you record everything in your memory palace.
Oh, please don't say the phrase memory palace. My memory palace?
The method of loci.
You need to make more sense, not less.
You remember everything you need to know. You don't need a case file, because you have it all up here.
He taps his head. I don't have a case file because from the very beginning, people keep trying to obstruct me. Some of these people have easy access to City Hall and even my home. If I don't write something down, the Batailles or the mayor can't snoop around to find it.
The mayor.
That's one of those details I never mentioned to you. He knows about the Batailles.
That they're vampires?
Yes.
Honestly, that's the biggest detail you've been surprisingly quiet about. Care to elaborate a bit more? I know that they are not the pure stereotypical Dracula vampires, since I am sure I have seen them all in the sun.
In the book, Dracula could walk around during the day. Got him. Yeah, that's right. I read a book once after Maddie took me to task on it. I like the idea that Maddie caught us not knowing what actually happened in Dracula. We went to the library and immediately slam read the whole thing. His face twitches with anger, but then settles into a surprisingly sincere smile. He doesn't like being corrected, though. There might be something he likes when it's coming from me.
Nevertheless, I need to know everything.
I fill him in on the investigation, from the start to finish. He has critiques as I go along, specifically about how much I trusted Liam. Can't say that he's wrong. I let all of the Batailles get under my skin, but he was the one I didn't notice until it was too late. By the time I'm done, we're in his room where he sips some whiskey and paces around for a while until finally, Apocalypse, the final battle, and what looks like a basic mountain painting.
Fascinating. This is all a lot to take in, and I understood the periphery and borders of the situation already. Quite frankly, I'd normally say that this all points to the Batailles keeping Jessica and Gary in a dungeon, and using them as a steady supply of blood, but it sounds like the clinic has that under control. Did you all just really let the clinic constantly collect blood without asking questions?
Well, I tried talking to Nurse Kathleen, but she denied it.
Has anyone in Bataille even needed a legitimate blood transfusion in the last 6 months?
We don't have anyone else in town with any medical training. It made enough sense to me at the time. I mean, honestly, yeah, if someone was like, yeah, we need this in order to be safe in this town of this size, and they were medical professional, I wouldn't question that, right? Because it's like, yeah, if it's coming from like the only doctor we have left, I'd be like, yeah, that's your area of expertise. You know what you're doing. I am not going to step in and try to question that.
I'll admit I would have questioned it for a moment, but I suppose you're right. There's no way to research precisely how much blood a town of 750 needs to keep on hand, and if she's the only authority, I'm not sure anyone could call her on it.
Exactly.
Fucking vampires. Why couldn't this have happened in a town with a decent library?
Focus, August. After everything I've told you, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that the world has gone absolutely fucking mad.
I mean, your thoughts on Jessica and Gary, the Bataille Repatriation Society, and what we should do next.
The simplest approach would be to wait. The BRS allegedly sent multiple letters to the two teenagers, giving them a set of instructions to carry out. We could just wait for the next letter.
There's no way you're suggesting we just wait for the next letter. Not after everything you just heard.
Of course I'm not suggesting we wait, Erica. Who do you think I am?
I have several things that I think that you are.
There are proactive measures we can take to root out exactly what is going on.
We don't want to do what the BRS says until we know who they are.
Absolutely true, but that is not where we should start.
It isn't? Aren't they the ones who know what happened to Jessica and Gary?
Yes, maybe, but we need to look at this problem holistically.
Please don't turn this into something about philosophy.
The BRS is a mystery. We don't know who they are. If they are not a hoax, they are operating outside the bounds of the towers, and thus the only person or organization able to communicate through them.
What if they're a fantasy instead? Just curious.
But they are far from the only mystery. Quiz time, Erica.
Oh, fuck, I hate quizzes. What, really?
List out all the other mysterious things happening in this town.
Okay. So what would we have on the list of mysteries?
Towers, the churches, the
church,
contingency and its name,
train station,
the trains, the train and the train station.
Yep. Independently of each other,
Yeah.
the city hall as well.
The
So,
Bataille's
like-
role with the train.
Yep.
And these things. The town hall.
Yep. So more generally, like people's memories not matching up.
Yep.
That like
Whatever we saw
Buildings.
on the day of the contingency when we got here
Yep.
that derailed the cars.
buildings appearing out of nowhere. The Bataille is having some kind of knowledge about what is all going on here. I think are the big scope things, right?
Yep.
Seriously?
Yes, seriously, talking helps me think.
Okay, well, I guess we'll start with the towers. Huge metal towers that emerge from the ground and kill anyone who tries to pass them. On top of that, all communication with the outside world is gone. Phones don't work, television is down, the internet is down, radios don't pick up signals from outside. There's the BRS, who act like they have a way through it, but probably don't. I think vampires count here since they were purely fictional before the contingency.
As far as you know.
Vampire hunter. Come on, August.
This is actually important. I'll explain later.
Next, you have the creature that ran your transport off the road. Yep, way back at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with whether to thank it for freeing me or damn it for trapping me here.
City Hall went from a one-floor building to a large complex, and there's no way to get into the higher floors.
Yes, I sure would like to know what's up there, but once again, we don't actually know if it transformed.
What do you mean? Everyone says it changed.
Everyone says it changed, exactly, but neither of us observed that earlier version of City Hall. Like I said about the vampires, this is critical.
I like the way you think. August. Finally, I guess there's the train that brings us food. It seems completely automated and arrives every week with supplies.
Good, but you missed one.
I did?
Yes, a very important one. The Lucian Church.
I didn't mention it explicitly, but I kind of like bundled it in mentally with like the
I thought we did mention it.
The Lucian Church specifically? I know we mentioned generally like people having memories that don't match up.
Yeah, I thought we mentioned the churches.
Oh yeah, well there we go. I guess that is odd.
That's odd. That's all you have to say. Many of the Christians in this town practice a skewed version of their religion, with a different Bible, neither of which existed a year ago. And they all swear it's always been their religion.
Honestly, I didn't want to stick my nose in religion. I thought it might be a Bataille cult, and as long as they weren't hurting anyone.
And the other portion of the people here say that the Lucian Church wasn't even a thing before the contingency. That's not worth investigating.
It's not a crime. As the sheriff, I prioritize crimes.
Crimes only exist within a judicial system designed to enforce them.
Why are you so caught up on the Lucians?
Because you're not, and because it's the first thing we should investigate.
Really? They have nothing to do with Jessica, Gary, or the BRS.
You have to think holistically.
Okay, even assuming that all the mysteries are connected, why would we start with the churches?
There's no way to know if the BRS existed, or if vampires were real, or if the City Hall was really one building or another before the contingency happened.
That's a great point.
Everyone agrees that all that was real. However, not everyone agrees about the churches. Essentially, we have one group of people affected by the phenomenon and one group not affected. With the schism, we have an experimental group and a control group. By questioning the differences in their stories, we can uncover more information.
You know what? I fucking like the way you think, August.
Thanks,
You are
I'll
a
be here
shit
all
kid,
week.
but I am glad we picked your route because you are thinking exactly the way I fuck. Getting so much use out of that image today.
We can't reach the BRS, not now. We might as well try another angle.
Fine, but as soon as we have another lead, we go after that. I don't want this to turn into a tangent about religious scholarship.
You really think I do that, Erica?
Yes, absolutely I do.
I suppose you're right. Is Madeline Gray still going to help us?
Yes, so I think she was disappointed.
Good. I'll think up some task for her while we're on our way to the station. Wouldn't want her to get in the way of our bonding time.
Sure, you do that. And we'll get back to more of this
Next
time.
time.
You know what? I will give credit to this game. I've been getting more and more into it as we've gone along here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. The beginning is interesting, but it doesn't really it doesn't show much of its hand until you get further and further into it, and then you're like, and then this and and now we're here, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I gotta see this. I gotta see what happens. So, see you all next time.
like, comment and subscribe.